Hey guys, and welcome back to Fit Fanny. I'm Sam.
I'm Jem.
So today we're going to talk about sleep and circadian rhythm.
Yeah, so essentially circadian rhythm is a really fancy way of saying 24 hours, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And what your body actually does within that. So your circadian rhythm determines your sleep-wake cycle, so when you go to sleep, when you're awake, and all your hormone fluctuations within that. Now, different people have different circadian rhythms. So some people are a night owl.
Yeah.
So they prefer to go to bed a little bit later, wake up a little bit later. Their, body functions. So all of those hormones and, chemicals in your body function a little bit later.
Yeah.
So you feel a little bit more awake later on in the evening. I am not that person.
No, me neither. I'm definitely so this is where, like, when people say I like to train in the morning or I like to train after work, this is where it comes from. It's because of your circadian rhythm.
Exactly.
And I am much more of a get up and train in the morning kind of
100%. So you are a morning lark.
I'm a morning lark.
So you have night owls, you have morning larks, and you have people who are a little bit in between, so where they're more in the middle. Your circadian rhythm changes throughout your life.
Yeah.
So throughout puberty, for example, and this is one of the things that schools don't necessarily coincide with, because during puberty, teenagers' circadian rhythms are pushed backwards.
Yeah.
So they are a lot more productive after the sort of like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. point, yet we force them to go to school.
From half 8.
Yeah. So we're not in tune with their circadian rhythms. As you get older, your circadian rhythm tends to go a little bit tits up. So it becomes a lot more broken, and your sleep becomes a lot more broken as a result of that. So your circadian rhythm essentially determines when you like to go to sleep, when you like to wake up, or not when you like to, not when your job dictates you to, but when your body wants you to. And within that, it dictates when you are going to be more creative, more productive, when your hormones are going to spike, when they're going to drop, when they're going to peak, etc., etc. But we're going to talk about the sleep aspect of it. So part of the circadian rhythm is when you go to sleep. Yeah. You get tired, whether that is, 11 o'clock at night, whether that's 7 o'clock at night, whether that's 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever that is, whenever you start to get tired. And same again, our circadian rhythms are not necessarily in tune with, our work, or our circadian rhythms are somewhat forced upon us because we have to have jobs and we have kids and blah, 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 blah. But essentially, when you go to sleep, really cool things happen.
Yeah.
I love sleep.
Sleep is the best. And to be fair, it's the only thing that you can't, so for example, let me just get this out in a better sentence before I start with the end point. We need to start with the beginning.
Yeah.
So
it's always a good place to start.
We can last however many days without food, without eating.
Yeah.
Is it like 7 to 10, something like that. And we can actually last about 3 days without water, can't we? Is it that much?
No, I think, or maybe actually. It's a lot more than what you think it is.
It's a lot more than what you think it is. It's quite, not that I recommend testing it out, but if you're on a desert island, you could survive for quite a bit of time without
food and
water. You wouldn't be able to survive as long without the sleep.
Yeah. 100%.
You wouldn't. Your body would start to completely and utterly shut itself down.
Because essentially what happens when you go to sleep is your muscles recover, your body repairs, your brain has a bit of a clearing out. So this process happens where essentially your brain gets washed.
Yes.
Your brain gets washed when you sleep. So it clears out any sort of, bugs or any sort of debris or any sort of latent neurochemicals. It gets washed, it gets cleaned, which then helps because some research shows that, Alzheimer's and brain diseases are more common in those who have been sleep deprived.
Yeah.
Cancers are a hell of a lot more common in shift workers. Same again, and they think that is more related to the sleep aspect of it, not getting adequate sleep. Because when you sleep, all of your immune responses get put into place. Your body goes through a repair process.
Yeah.
And if that's not happening regularly, effectively, or efficiently, your body goes into a state of disrepair.
Yeah.
And cancer is essentially either when cells don't work properly or they work too properly and they go a little bit wrong.
Too properly.
Definitely good English.
It's a very good English.
Very good English,
yes.
right there. I did English lit, just so you're aware, you know.
Great.
Yeah, great.
Wow.
So
your teacher taught you real well?
Real well. I do good English. I do good speaking.
I do good speaking.
I was on the debate team and everything. Oh, yeah. I think more people were just scared of me than anything else, let's be honest. And side note, I went to like a bongos bingo the other night.
Yeah.
Right? It was like a Burtwood version, Mad Raiders.
Right. Okay.
And I won the first game, and I was so aggressive that this guy turned around and was like, "Holy shit, you just scared the living daylights out of me." And I was like, "I'm 5 foot," and he was like, "Yeah, you're really scary." And I was like, "Thank you very much. Really appreciate that."
How were you aggressive?
I was like, "Yeah!"
Oh, excited, aggressive. I
Yeah.
was like.
I was going to drop kick some people if they started to win, and I didn't. I won a round of shots, but I wasn't drinking. And then I won a giant inflatable pizza. Like pizza slice. It was amazing. I was raving that thing home. Anyways.
And you weren't drinking?
I wasn't drinking.
Fantastic.
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So when you sleep, your body repairs. If you're not getting enough repair, your body is not flushing out all of those nasty bugs, and that's where disease happens, essentially, okay? So sleep is absolutely crucial to everything that we do. Now, they say you need around 6 to 8 hours. Now, same again, that depends on your circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
Some people can function off a hell of a lot less, others can need a lot more. They found that athletes need around 8 to 10 because they train a lot more.
Yeah, so they're more fatigued, they're more tired in the day, the body is working harder in the day, so
exactly.
it needs longer to repair.
Yeah. Their muscles need a lot longer to recover, to repair. And there's also some research to show that women need more sleep than men.
Yes, 100%.
And that's same again, back to if you watched our menstrual cycle, listen to our menstrual cycle one.
To do with all the hormones that we actually have to deal with
all
on a day-to-day basis.
And that is a really stressful situation. So your body helps to deal with stress. The other thing that happens is, so our REM cycles, our sleep cycles are in 90-minute blocks.
Yes. 75
to 90-minute blocks. Now, which means as humans of, adult age, we should sleep in 90-minute blocks in the sense of, rather than having 6.5 hours sleep, you'd actually be better at having 6 hours sleep.
Yeah. Because
it's divisible by 90. So you're going through a full sleep cycle, going into the next one, coming out of it, going into the next one and coming out of it. When you wake up halfway through a sleep cycle, that's when you feel groggy, that's when you feel more tired, more lethargic.
And it's why... Well, first of all, you shouldn't nap after about 2 o'clock anyway in the afternoon, because it will completely and utterly mess with your circadian rhythm and will mess then with your evening sleep cycle. But if you're going to have a nap, it shouldn't be any longer than 20 to 25 minutes, because otherwise...
Ooh. Or a full 90.
It has to be one or the other. So it has to be before that 20-minute point. You don't want any more than that, or you have to do the full 90, the full cycle, because otherwise you wake up, you're groggy, you don't feel any better for that little nap you had. So if you go, I'm just gonna have 10 minutes, and that 10 minutes actually turns into 45, you've completely not screwed yourself over.
Yeah, because you want that, you either don't want to enter the sleep cycle, or you want to enter it fully and come out the other side.
You don't want to exactly. You want to come out of it before that deep sleep moment happens, or you've got to get through the whole thing.
But, I did this ripple effect.
And let's face it, who's got 90 minutes in the middle of the day to have a nap?
I plan it in.
Fantastic. This is what...
I mean, not gonna lie, I plan it in my day.
I wish I had 90 minutes.
Only on specific days, so only on like a Tuesday and a Thursday, because a Tuesday and a Thursday I start at 5:30 in the morning and I do not finish till 9 o'clock at night, but I usually have a couple of hours in the middle of the day where I've got a gap.
I'm so jealous.
So I will train still on those days and things like that, but yeah, I will then take myself off for a little 90 minutes.
I'm so jealous.
But that is also because I know full well, and this is also a fact with regards to sleep. So when you sleep, your brain clears out. So it clears out some of the stress, clears out some of your like weird thoughts. It also enhances creativity and problem solving.
Which is why people like Google.
Yeah.
They have like little sleep pods and chambers and stuff, so people can go and have like 20 minutes, wake up, and then more creative.
Exactly. So I know full well that if I'm tired, if I start to feel tired, in the afternoon or whatever, I know that if I were to power through for the next 3 hours and just crack on, I would get 50% of my work done.
Yep.
Yeah. If I take half of that 3 hours and have a nap and take 90 minutes out of that, so I've only got half the time remaining, I'll get 75% of the work done.
Much more productive in that
I am a hell of a lot more productive in that following 90 minutes. Like, my other half laughs at me all the time because I will literally be like, I'm going for a nap, wake up, coffee, boom, out the door, let's go, ready, on this.
Yeah.
I am so much more productive, but same again, that depends on who you are. Different circadian rhythms, different hormonal balances, different hormonal roller coasters or circuitry creates different things, different lives. So if I'm starting at 5:30, my other half's not getting up, but I still don't I go to bed at like 11. So I'm still only getting sort of like 6.5 hours sleep, 6 hours sleep in there.
Absolutely.
So I'm just getting the remaining hour and a half at a different time.
A different time of the day. That makes sense.
So in the 24-hour period, I'm still getting sort of my 8 hours. It's just in separate blocks. That's all it is, and it's like a little recharge. So napping, when I did this ripple effect course, they were like, you should nap guilt-free because it helps with creativity and blah, 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 blah. As long as you're doing it A, correctly, and B, so the full sleep cycle or not a full sleep cycle, and as long as it works with you and who you are.
Yeah.
And then the other thing with sleep is as well, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to sleep.
Yes.
Because so the way sleep works is your melatonin is your sleep hormone, essentially. And when you close your eyes, that's when it impacts that hormone. But you should sleep in pitch black darkness. So I sleep with an eye mask on. I can easily sleep in noise. Noise doesn't really bother me.
I actually quite like sleeping with noise in the background. It like soothes me a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me. But you should sleep pitch black dark, so blackout blinds, making sure there's no lights on. We've talked about it before, no blue light before you go to bed, because what that does is that blue light then sparks. It's almost like an alarm clock.
Yeah, it reawakens up the
body.
Essentially.
You want your room to be a little bit colder because our body temperature, just a little bit, because then you can snuggle.
I hate that though. I hate being cold.
I know, but I'm not saying cold. It's like 18 degrees is like the ideal. I'm not saying like -4. Like.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So 18 degrees I think is like optimal because your body temperature changes in the night, so it helps to regulate that. Because same again, your body is going through that inflammation response, it's going through an immune response, it is clearing out your body, it burns a lot of calories, sleep, a lot more than, because we're just sat here chilling now, we are actually burning less calories now than we would be if we were asleep.
Because the body is working really hard while you're asleep.
So it's an energy exhausting process, even though you're asleep. It's doing a lot of work. It's not burning as many as if you were to be doing a weight session or whatever, but it does burn more than just sitting down. So then what happens in the morning is your light comes into your eye, it enters something called your suprachiasmatic nucleus, and I just feel really fun saying that, which is suprachiasmatic nucleus.
Yeah, it's supercalifragilistic.
Yeah, exactly, but it's not suprachiasmatic. It's suprachiasmatic nucleus. It's in the back of your eyes. Light enters into it. Alarm clock goes off.
Yeah.
Sets off the rest of your hormones.
Yeah.
Essentially, melatonin is like, boom, let's go. It sets off everything else that you are going to do for the day. So that is where your then adrenaline increases because you're trying to wake up. Your muscles start to fire, so all of the chemicals, hormones, neurochemicals that are involved in moving your muscles, in engaging your brain, all start to fire up. They found that melatonin is actually related to your sex hormones as well.
Yeah.
So that's why it has a huge impact on your menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
That's why in the luteal phase, you're a hell of a lot more tired. In ovulation phase, luteal phase, you're a hell of a lot more tired. It has a massive impact. Now, they don't know to what extent, but all of your hormones are connected, essentially.
All of them.
Every single hormone has a separate, because your hormones or your neurochemicals, imagine it like, those things that you play when you're a kid, where you throw a ball and someone else has got the thing on the other side and it catches?
Yeah.
Right, that's where we're going.
So
those little catchy things, so let's take sex hormones, for example. Those little catchy things are not just based in your sex organs.
No, they're all over the shop.
All over the place. So once those chemicals are sent out, they're not just being caught by the organs, the muscles, the areas that you think they're being caught by. They're being caught by various other places, So actually, one hormone going off can have many different
effects across the whole body.
And that's why, different people experience different things, but different sleep patterns impact them differently, because your hormones are then different as you're going throughout the day.
Absolutely.
But you want to make sure that sleep, especially if you are exercising, sleep is a key component to recovery and repair.
With all of my clients, I make sure that they do what we call a digital detox before they go to bed.
Love it.
So we can get them into a nice sleep pattern, or we put them into the right state so that they can get a good night's sleep.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's something I do with my clients all the time. Digital detox puts you into a good place so that you can go to, and sometimes, or even just like a bedtime routine. So if you are somebody that actually isn't that digital, right? And you don't actually need digital detox, and you actually leave your phone downstairs on charge rather than up in your bedroom, then things like putting like a bedtime routine like you would with a child. So for me, that bedtime routine is I will get a glass of water and I'll take that up to bed with me, just in case I wake up, not because I'm definitely going to drink it before I go to bed, but in case at some point I wake up in the middle of the night and I need it, but it's part of my bedtime routine. More often than not, I wake up and it's not been touched. But that's part of my bedtime routine. I go and get a glass of water, that comes up to bed with me. I then go and do my face care. Right? Skincare routine. I get my PJs on, and then I get into bed and I'm like,
I'm ready.
I'm now ready to close my eyes and go to sleep here. Like, I can do that. Or I might even, sometimes if I'm not quite ready, like I'll feel tired, I'll put a podcast on a timer, and within 15 minutes I'm gone.
On a timer, that's a good idea.
And that's what I'll do. So, put a bedtime routine in or a digital detox to get your body ready to be like, okay, no, we're going to start our sleep cycle now. This is what's going to happen.
Exactly. And that is one of the things, to start your sleep cycle, you can't just start.
No.
Like there's hormone responses to wake you up, there's hormone responses to get you to sleep. And like Sam said, if you're having a nap after sort of 2-3 o'clock, you are then you're almost filling yourself back up with energy, with all those hormones that's then not going to be utilized before you go to bed. So you're pushing that next cycle back a little bit, which then has an ongoing effect for the next day. Because if you push your circadian rhythm back a couple of hours, and then either you wake up a few hours later the next day, well, then you've pushed
I'm pushing.
Or you have to wake up at the same time, well, then now you've accrued some sleep debt, which we've discussed before.
Which is sleep. So with sleep debt, you can't ever catch up, right? So, it's an interesting one, really. So let's say, for example, you went out at the weekend 2 nights on the run. Say you did Friday and Saturday night, right?
Who can do that?
Who can do that?
Oh my God.
But let's say that you didn't get in till, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you had to be up with the kids, right? They wake up at 6, right? So you've had 3 hours sleep, right? Those first 3 to 4 hours anyway are absolutely naff, because if you've been drinking, you've got all of the sugar and the alcohol surging through your system, which obviously wreak havoc on your hormones and on everything.
Alcohol inhibits REM sleep. Yeah. So you don't actually get those full cycles that we were talking about. You don't get the clearing out of the brain. You don't get the inflammatory responses. You don't get that reparation. So it's almost as if you've not had any sleep.
Exactly. So you've had 3 hours sleep on the Friday. You've then been up since 6 a.m. with the kids, for example. You've done a full day. Then you've ended up going out on the Saturday. And you might not be drinking, but you've gone out, and let's say you don't actually get back in until I don't know, even if it's like, say, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever it is. You go back to sleep, you wake up on the Sunday, and it's like 6, half 6, right? So you've had 9 hours sleep over 2 days.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to try and catch up on that sleep for the rest of the week, you would never actually be able to catch up on it, because you're only going to be giving yourself, like, on the Sunday, you might go to bed a little earlier. So let's say instead of 10 o'clock, you go to sleep at 8 o'clock, right? You're only gaining 2 hours.
Yeah.
You would then have to gain 2 hours for the rest of the week to even nearly try and catch up. And that doesn't happen.
No, not at all.
It's not happening.
It's not at all.
And you can create all of this sleep debt, but you can't actually regain it back. So you can't ever repay the debt back.
No, exactly. And same again, it comes back to those sleep cycles again as well, and the messing with your circadian rhythm, because at that point, your body gets used to, that's why they say you should get up and go to sleep the same day, same time every day, even at weekends.
Yes.
Because your body gets used to, at 8 a.m, light comes into my eyes, hormones go off, and we're awake. And then this next hormone pattern happens, and then this next hormone pattern happens, and then da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then as soon as that changes, your body goes, sorry, what?
What now?
Come again? Why am I doing this? So you end up messing with those circadian rhythms, those hormone inputs and outputs, and that is something that is difficult to put back into place as well, because as we've said before, melatonin affects sex hormones, but then it also has an impact on ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone. So then you might eat more, which means you might eat more.
If you're tired and you've got lack of sleep, then you're going to try and want to fuel your body, and what you end up then going for is loads of really carby things,
calorie dense
things that you want to bring on, and actually, then it makes you feel lethargic and it makes you feel fatigued, and actually we're now back into this whole realm of cycles that we don't want to be in.
Exactly. So sleep is crucial to any of your goals, and same again, we're coming from a fitness point of view, we're coming from, keeping
just for life,
but for life
in general.
If you want to be more productive in work, if you want to be able to, creativity, if you want to be able to, spend time with your kids a little bit more, if you want to feel just energized in your general day to day, sleep is where it starts. Having that good bedtime routine, making sure that you're getting full sleep cycles. Like we said, alcohol massively inhibits entering a REM cycle. So if you are drinking, a little bit throughout the week, actually you're inhibiting that quite a lot. You're not getting that same degree of sleep or that same depth of sleep that you need to recover and to repair.
Absolutely.
A good way to tell is if you dream.
Yeah. So, I only and have only ever had nightmares.
Oh.
Never nice dreams.
Really?
Only ever nightmares.
Do you think you dream but you just don't remember it?
I don't know, because I've never, but why would I remember a nightmare and not a normal dream, like a nice dream?
Oh yeah, that's weird.
And I have quite a lot of like recurring dreams and a lot of like recurring themes.
Yeah.
So like I have this and I have done for years and years and years, where I'm driving over what looks like Menai Bridge.
Right, okay.
On the way to Anglesey.
Yeah.
Really big bridge. But I'm driving a car, or I'm in the car, and there are no sides to the bridge, and it's really thin.
Oh God.
And I have to try and get across without falling off the edge.
Really?
Yeah. And it's and sometimes I've gone off the edge and I have to wake myself up for it or.
Well, you can't die in a dream. If you die in a dream, you're dead.
You're dead in real life.
Yeah. And the other thing is, so every image, every face that you see in a dream, you will have 100% seen before.
Yeah.
Your brain cannot recreate faces. It cannot create faces from nothing.
So and even if you think you don't recognise that person, you might have just walked past them, and you might have not at the time thought, oh, they were I don't know, they had dark hair, blue.
Yeah.
You won't be able to remember seeing them, but subconsciously your brain is like,
Yeah.
oh, we saw that. It was a picture that we saw and it's in there somewhere.
Yeah. Which, so, you know, anyone that you're passing on the street that you don't think you've necessarily recognised or looked at may appear in a dream because your brain cannot create faces from nothing, which I find really, really cool.
It's
I have
hard,
recurring dreams. So I have one that I've not had in a very, 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 very long time. I used to get it as a kid loads, and it's like a little rock that's like just either on my bed or somewhere near me, but it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and every time you like touch it or try and get rid of it, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's usually when I'm stressed, but I've not had it in a very, very, very long time. Or, and this one I always find really weird, imagine Play-Doh in your mouth.
Oh, right.
And I can't get it out.
Oh, that's
so it's like crumbly. It's not my teeth falling out, but it's like crumbly in my mouth, and I'm trying to get it out, and I can't get it out. It just keeps coming back and coming back.
Do you think that is your brain's way of telling you to stop talking?
The attitude. No, apparently I've Googled it. So teeth falling out is being afraid of change.
Yeah.
Apparently it's because I don't feel listened to, and it's usually when I've spoken to a certain person.
Okay.
So yeah, but they do. Like, to a certain extent, do dreams have meaning? I mean, I do feel it to a certain extent. I've not read a lot of Freud.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to be honest, I don't know too much I don't know a lot on the realm of what dreams mean and stuff like that.
I mean,
I just know that when I dream, they're always nightmares, and either I am about to die in some fashion or another. One that I used to have was the house my mum and dad's house somebody would break into the house and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and we'd like be hid behind the sofa in their front room and stuff. Or now I really like films. I love Criminal Minds and like CSI,
love it,
and things like that. Like, I reckon I could work for the FBI.
Oh my god, yes.
But I love things like witches and werewolves and anything to do with that kind of, and vampires and stuff.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, we definitely watched it as kids, same with Charmed.
Well, that is what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Absolutely.
Always Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I wanted to be the one that throws things.
Oh, from Charmed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but a lot of my dreams end up in me or somebody dying or nearly dying, and like a lot of like witch dreams and things like yeah, and they're always very dark. Very dark.
Oh no, I don't have that very often.
So there must be some sort of
it is, you know, your brain is problem solving, so there'll be some form of connection there. I've just not read enough into it.
I don't know enough about
maybe someone could
that.
Maybe if anyone's listening who has read about it or knows about it could,
or is a pro in the field.
Dream field. I do find it really interesting though. But anyways, we digress. Dreams. But yeah, sleep, it is really crucial, and you want to make sure that you are getting those full sleep cycles. Nap if you want to, you know, if it fits in, but same again, no more than sort of 20-30 minutes, no less than 90. Not after sort of 2-3 o'clock, because otherwise you just depending on what time you go to bed. But everyone's circadian rhythm is different, and I think sometimes, you know, especially depending on what job you're in or who you're surrounded by, you know, a lot of people say teenagers are lazy because they lay in. That's actually their circadian rhythm.
Their circadian rhythm. It's got nothing to do actually with them just being lazy.
No.
They are lazy in the realms of what the map of society is.
You know, we work Monday to Friday 9 to 5. Well, if your circadian rhythm doesn't match in with that, we obviously don't, but most, you know, majority of the world does. If your circadian rhythm doesn't match in with that, well then it's going to be a lot harder for you. But if you want to try and make sure that you are recovering, repairing, you know, being more creative, more productive, sleep is where it's at, and making sure that you don't drink before you go to sleep, especially throughout the week, if that's one thing that you are trying to cut down on. We've said it before, don't use the actual reason of, you know, I'm trying to cut down on alcohol because alcohol is bad for me. Try and use the reason, well, because I'm going to sleep better.
Yeah.
And then that'll help with X, Y, and Z because I'm tired all the time. So find the reason that works best for you, but sleep is a crucial aspect. Have that digital detox, have that nighttime plan, but sleep is a massive, massive, massive indicator of future diseases, of productivity, creativity. Google, I'm going to go work for Google.
I know.
Having a sleep
You
pod.
do really well in Google, I reckon.
I think I'd nail it. Google, if you're listening, come get me. I'll be there. I come up with some really great ideas. I feel like they'll all be sleep or food related.
100%.
Disney, make some Disney.
Make some Disney.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm not sure what job you would actually do at Google, but I reckon you'd fit in quite well.
I could be the hype woman.
The hype woman.
Just go and hype everyone up, and then go for a nap, and then go and hype everyone up, and then go for a nap, and then hype. Google, if you need a hype woman, I'm there. Guys, next week we're going to talk about how caffeine and coffee and the difference between the two,
and how that actually affects sleep.
Yeah, so we thought we'd give you a little bit of an intro into sleep itself, your circadian rhythm. And if you're unsure, have a little Google of it, have a little look into it, and have a little think about it. Are you more productive of an evening? If you are, you're probably a night owl. So waking up a little bit later, going to bed a little bit later, absolutely fine. Yeah. If you're more productive in the morning, wake up a little bit earlier, go to bed a little bit earlier, get a little bit more done. If you love a nap, 20 minutes, 90 minutes, creativity, help it improve. But just listen to your bodies, but let's get those full sleep cycles in there to help with that recovery and repair.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.